Like many gardeners in the winter months, I'm itching to stretch my green fingers. With it so cold outside and the ground sodden, I find myself in the attic trying to find inspiration, as you do. I found some bits of wood and a box of screws, so I made a window box for the kitchen. I'm a big fan of reusing things, and I'm no stranger to DIY, especially at the moment where there's hardly anything to do. The previous owners of the house left a pine wardrobe in the attic, which I flattened down to make space. The wood is solid and in good condition. The kitchen gets plenty of light and is perfect for growing some lettuce leaves, rocket and spinach. It's close to hand too, and it should encourage us to eat more salad. And it will also look pretty for when I'm doing the washing up. Grabbing my trusty workmate, how cool is that? I started by measuring the depth of my windowsill, which is 17 centimetres. These lengths of wood already have a groove in them, which held in the drawer bottom. I'm going to reuse this to add a base to the window box. I've marked 17 centimetres and will cut the wood to make the first end of the box. I'm going to sand all the edges as I go to keep it neat and to avoid any splinters later. I then mark the second end of the box and cut this too. Now I have two ends of the correct depth, and I found a couple of lengths which are about the right height. I'll try and get the grooves to all line up like so, which means the ends are too tall at the moment. I mark on them where they need to be cut and do the same for both ends. This is the thin drawer bottom, and if I've measured everything up correctly, the grooves on the sides and ends should all line up, which they do. I measure the width of the inside of the box, including a little more for the depth of the groove, and then mark this on the box bottom. Then, using a sharp knife, I score a line a few times. Placing a bit of wood under the box bottom, I then gently press down to split across the scored line, like so. I clean this up so it all slots together neatly. Now it just needs to be joined together. Everyone has to have a box of random bits. Using a drill, make some pilot holes in the two ends, 2 holes on either side. And then screw through to the first side panel. Now if this works, it will be very satisfying. And then screw in the second side panel. For the lining, I'm going to use this thick rubble bag folded over a few times. I staple it in place and tidy up the edges by folding them over. Now you may have noticed there's not going to be any drainage for this window box, so we'll have to water the plants by wicking rather than directly watering the soil. This will stop it oversaturating and becoming waterlogged, and it should be a little more hygienic than having dirty water laying around. I'm going to set a pot at the edge of the box, which is going to be where we pour the water in. This will have twine in it which will wick the water along the length of the window box. I cut a handful of lengths of twine and tie them off at one end. Making a small hole in one side of the pot, I pull enough of the twine through to reach the bottom of the pot, and then position the rest at the base of the box. Now I don't know how well this twine is going to wick, so I put some water in the pot and I left it overnight as an experiment. Checking the next morning, it worked great, and the twine is completely saturated and will water the soil perfectly fine. The good thing about wicking is that it's impossible to overwater, as the soil will only take what it needs to be saturated. The final thing to do is to fill it up with a mixture of soil and compost. And then put it on the windowsill. I'll be sowing the seeds in a few weeks' time, and I look forward to creating the How to Grow Salad in Your Kitchen video later in the year. I hope you enjoyed this video and it inspired you to reuse bits from around the house. If you did enjoy it, do consider subscribing. It really does help me make the best videos I can, and I look forward to reading your comments to see what you've made this year. Here are a couple of videos that you may be interested in. Thank you and happy growing.